The Truman Doctrine came from a speech delivered by President Truman before a joint session of Congress on March 12, 1947. He was asking Congress to provide help to Greece against communist forces. The speech was the immediate cause of Britain announcing that starting March 31, 1947, they will not be able to provide military and economic assistance to the Greece and Turkey nations to protect them against the Soviet communists. President Harry S. Truman concluded that the United States would be able to provide political, military, and economic assistance to all democratic nations under threat from external or internal authority.
When World War II ended in 1945, the Cold War began when the United States and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or USSR, began to butt heads due to their common interest or defeating Germany being gone. They had different views of how post-World War II Europe should look and had competing government systems. One thing led to another, and the USSR, led by Joseph Stalin, was trying to take over the world by force to turn the whole world communist. This is when George F. Kennan made the Containment Doctrine in 1947, which stated that Russia is relentlessly expansionary, and if not contained, it will take over the world. But the U.S. can stop this by implementing a policy of firm and vigilant containment. Kennan's Containment Doctrine hit Truman hard, along with the fact that Britain could no longer offer financial aid for the militaries of Greece and Turkey to help them defend against communism. Truman realized that he needed to take action to contain Russia and keep Turkey and Greece safe, saving the Eastern Europe from falling to communism.
By being the new police of the UN, the United States felt like it was a part of their duty to support any country that was resisting communism. The United States wanted to show that by being a powerful democracy, it can encourage and prove to other countries that this form of government is successful. The United States was in the midst of an economic boom in the 1950s, which stabilized the economy and led to a massive financial aid to the Eastern European countries.
In the point of view of the United States, the U.S. government believed that the Soviet Union supported the Greek communist war effort and worried that if communists prevailed in the Greek Civil War, the Soviets would ultimately influence Greek policy. Truman wanted to prevent the overthrow of free nations by scaring Congress by saying that communists was coming to Greece and Turkey. To justify this, he said, "I believe we must assist free people to work out their destinies in their own ways." Also, a number of other foreign policy problems influenced President Truman's decision to actively aid Greece and Turkey. Truman decided that it was his duty to protect those nations from falling in the hand of communists.
The Truman Doctrine was specifically for Greece and Turkey. They were most important in providing support because a communist victory in the Greek Civil War would endanger the political stability of Turkey, which would undermine the political stability of the Middle East. Truman requested that Congress provide $400 million worth of aid to both Greece and Turkey. It would support and dispatch American civilization and military equipment to the region. The Soviet Union was reaching past their limit of their sphere of influence through Greece and Turkey. Truman took this as a response to financially aid them. By issuing the Truman Doctrine, he demonstrated to the U.S. that they would not return to isolationism. The Truman Doctrine was the first definitive in the Cold War. The perspectives of the Soviet Union was addressed to the U.S. by an angry response in Moscow. The USA is trying to establish its control over Greece and Turkey. President Truman's message to Congress is a threat to the principle of the United Nations. It created more tension and is not a straightforward attack on the Soviet Union.